On this edition of the Wildlife Docs, high atop the rocky peaks of Central Africa, meet the king of beasts.
It's just the perfect place for a lion to be on, right at the top.
Journey to Uganda's Kidepo Valley National Park for a medical investigation.
Several of the lions had an unknown illness. They were getting very thin, and they were having some very odd swellings around various parts of their body.
Discover why the lions of Kidepo climb to the top of these rocky peaks.
That's one of the favorite spots that lions go to during the day. They like a big, high vantage point.
Witness how the wild lions of Uganda react to sound recordings of lions from Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Now he's talking.
Join our safari to Africa and see the impressive efforts to save the wild lions of Kidepo. I'm Rachel Rienstra, taking you on an animal adventure with the Wildlife Docs. Passionate, dedicated, committed. For over 50 years, the men and women of SeaWorld Busch Gardens and Discovery Cove Parks have been leaders in wildlife conservation, research, and education. The parks provide a unique environment to connect with animals and inspire visitors to help protect the natural spaces that we all depend on, including animals in the wild. Because of their expertise assisting animals of every kind, the Wildlife Docs were asked to journey to Africa to help solve a mystery about the lions of Kidepo. Africa is home to some of the most stunning scenery and incredibly diverse wildlife on the planet. From the desert to the sea, from mountains to jungles to the vast savannas, Africa is home to a complex array of ecosystems. In the heart of the continent is Uganda. Called the Pearl of Africa, it's where the Nile River begins and home to the highest concentration of wild animals on the continent. Elephants, rhinos, cheetahs, giraffe, Cape buffalo, crocodile, gorilla, lions, and countless species of birds. And this is all in an area approximately the same size as the state of Oregon. The Wildlife Docs have been asked to journey to Kidepo Valley National Park, situated in the northeast corner of Uganda, right on the border of South Sudan, 524 miles from Kampala, the capital of Uganda. It's as far north as you can go.
Kidepo is near nothing, nowhere. That's maybe one of the most attractive things about it. It's been kept how it is. It wouldn't have changed for centuries, which is sort of mystical and wonderful.
Those hardy enough to make the trek are rewarded with some of the most beautiful scenery in all of Africa. Expansive vistas, dramatic mountain ranges, and distinctive rock formations.
The rocky outcrops, that's what you're really looking at here. It's just, the perfect place for a lion to be on, right at the top. That's the savannah he's living in. He can see what's going on, he can hear what's going on.
Some lions have been seen near the ranger stations and tourist resorts. They looked a little thin and might be sick.
We funded a grant to look at some lions that were actually farther out and take a look at the health of those animals.
The latest study by conservationists shows that the lion population is down dramatically across Africa, except here in Kidepo, where the lion population increased over a 10-year period from 58 to 132 due to conservation efforts. If whatever is affecting the lions becomes contagious, it could wipe out the third largest lion population in Uganda.
They didn't know for sure what was going on, so they were seeing if we could investigate this and find out what the disease might be.
Kidepo does not have a permanent veterinarian, so the Uganda Wildlife Authority sent Dr. Robert to begin a project to test the lions. Dr. Pete has brought new medical equipment provided by the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund to immediately test the lions.
We are testing for 3 diseases here in the field. We are testing for mycobacteria, and we're also testing for 2 viruses, feline immunodeficiency virus and feline leukemia virus.
Uganda Wildlife Authority rangers are the eyes and ears of the park. They monitor the animal's health and alert veterinarians when the animals are sick.
The one thing we always know is the rangers are working hard on the ground. So if you want to know what's going on the ground, the one person you talk to is a ranger. They're living out in the middle of nowhere, so they know full well sort of what's going on in these regions.
Sunrise. Volunteers from the Uganda Conservation Foundation join the park rangers and the wildlife docs for a safety meeting. Dr. Robert is in charge.
When we reach the animals where they are, we are going to that lions. They can be aggressive, they can be docile, so while animal behavior is unpredictable, you don't know what happens.
The rangers know of 2 adolescent male lions. They are not mature enough to challenge for prides of their own, but they have already staked out their own territories and must be approached with caution.
Here you have to put out spotters first to actually go find the animals. Then once you find them, encourage the lions to actually leave his rocky outcropping, come down and go across the plain, which then gave us the opportunity to follow him in a truck and get him into a position where we could dart him, sedate him, and then work on him.
Where is your rocky outcrop? Can you see any rocky outcrops here? I think it might be worth checking them. Should we go off-road and check those ones?
So you're looking at taller ones in the back of this small set of trees.
It's a huge ridge, basically, if you see from there all the way along. A lot of trees, a lot of rocks. They could be anywhere. We have no idea where they lie. My gut instinct is they've gone up into these rocky areas, somewhere in there.
Rangers lead the team to a rocky area where they have spotted a young male lion. He's been perched on top of a rock all day.
Still there. Come down and play, my friend. He's gotta be getting hungry soon. That's a beautiful spot he picked. Yeah, I can see it all from up there.
Oh, he's getting close.
When he actually came down, he kept an eye on us, but he wasn't one that we were able to track for a long time. It was really dark, and he was smart enough to go into some areas that had a lot of heavy rocks that didn't allow us to track him any further.
It's far too dangerous to work with a wild animal like a lion in the dark, so the decision is made to wait until the next day. Coming up, the wildlife docs head back into the bush, tracking lions across the park.
Looking at us.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep an eye on it.
Good spot.
Plus, witness how new technology helps the docs find lions in the wild. That's next when the Wildlife Docs continues. The Wildlife Docs have journeyed from Tampa, Florida to the heart of Africa, Kidepo Valley National Park in Uganda. Lions near the ranger station and tourist areas have shown signs of a mysterious health problem. The plan is to begin a series of field tests to make sure the disease does not spread. After losing sight of a male lion in the night, the team groups and heads back out the next morning. The rangers have a good idea where the lions might be, but tracking them is no easy task.
The Uganda Wildlife Authority rangers know exactly what those signs are. They actually showed us so we could start seeing exactly what they're looking for, whether it's broken branches, whether it's footprints, whether it's anything. Once we found those, we could track where we think the cats would go.
The key is to find paw prints on the muddy roads, then follow them to areas where lions may take shelter. It sounds easy, but a lion's territory can cover 100 square miles.
So we've got a whole pride, I would think, 3
Yeah.
cubs.
And none too large, but there's multiple. There's a smaller one. That's a smaller one.
We've got a mum and cubs.
So yeah, at least
The cubs don't go far.
Don't go far.
Yeah.
So we've definitely got one big female. Two big females.
2 big females, yeah.
The team tracks the lion to an open area of the savannah.
So you're looking at taller.
Looking at us.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep an eye on
move.
it.
The team has to be cautious. While they would love to be able to test some females, they need to make sure that they don't have cubs.
Michael, you got a copse of trees to your right, so you're good if you go straight. Hold. 2 o'clock, walking away slowly. So, okay, straight there, crossing across your front. You can speed up a little bit. It's going to be at your 11 o'clock now, about 75 yards out. All right, stop, hold.
3 cubs.
I would think 3 cubs.
Once the team gets close to the lion, they see she has cubs. So they decide not to follow her so as not to put stress on the cubs.
Michael, let's go back to the road.
Time to get back on the road to pick up the trail of a different group of lions.
Well, let's go to these rocks. Rock on.
Spotters have located a male lion on the opposite side of the park. The team sees the lion high on the rock, not an area they can get to safely.
That's one of the favorite spots that lions go to during the day. They like a big, high vantage point.
The best scenario would be for the lion to come down to the valley floor. So the team brings out their new secret weapon.
Michael Kagwin and I had actually come up with an idea to use vocals from our lions at Busch Gardens. We had put those vocals on a recorder and then put them on a speaker that we could use.
It's kind of the same idea as a duck call. Back in Tampa, they recorded the oldest male lion, Simon, as he was vocalizing.
And that could either be one of two things. When that vocal was played, it's either a challenge to the lion or it's showing that a bigger male lion is in and that lion's going to want to leave. He's talking.
He's talking back. Wait a second. He probably thought, hey, there's some other males on my turf, and I need to check this out.
Sure enough, the lion's curiosity brings him down from the top of the rock. Coming up, witness the teamwork that goes into a field exam on the lion.
Can we do as much as we can from here without moving him?
Yes.
Okay.
That's next when the Wildlife Docs continues.
For years, Dr. Pete has been working with the 2 lion prides here at Busch Gardens. The youngest pride, Kembe, Shituko, and Shaba, were actually born in Africa. But there's a big difference between the habitat here at the park and the vast open savanna of northern Uganda.
The rangers and wildlife docs have traversed rough terrain and found a male lion perched high up on the top of a rock formation.
Lions in Kidepo are very spread out around the various parts of the park. Now, the males oftentimes will spend a good deal of the day off by themselves. They're mostly territorial defenders rather than hunters.
We were very busy working with a lion at the very, very top of this huge rocky outcrop. Of course, he'd been sunning himself all day. He'd been looking like this was the majesty of the savannah, and he sure was. But he wasn't going to come down and play game with us.
So the wildlife docs bring out their secret weapon, recorded sounds of Simon from Busch Gardens, to try and entice this wild lion to come down from his perch.
He's talking.
Yes.
The lion makes his way down from the rocks to investigate. Now the team has to track him, sedate him, and then complete a procedure gathering samples that they can test to help solve the mystery of the Kidepo lions.
Starting to trot.
He's starting to run.
He's going to be on the track pretty soon.
I think he laid down. Right there. So hold.
The team tracks the lion to a perfect spot to administer the sedative. These are wild lions and cannot be approached, so the team has to keep their distance until the animal is asleep.
Once the animal truly goes down, we'll approach with a vehicle, won't get out of the vehicle until we reach over the top of the vehicle and test the animal with a stick. The animal doesn't give a response, then we can get out.
Once the animal is asleep, the team quickly moves in, clears some brush, and moves the lion into a position where it's more comfortable and can safely be treated.
It's no worries, we're in control. Okay.
This cat had actually crawled into a brush that was actually very heavy. We're able to grab him, pull him out under a blanket, establish where he was, get some water on him, get a face cover on him so his eyes were covered, which then allowed us to do the work.
Can we do as much as we can from here without moving him?
Yes.
Okay.
I could draw blood from the tail, and we could be done.
Okay, let's clear the site so the vets can come on.
We did a quick physical exam, make sure there was no obvious problems with his body itself. We also wanted to take a blood sample to analyze back here at camp. Then we took a small skin sample for later genetic work.
Once Dr. Pete has taken his blood sample and is finished with his examination, he gives the lion medication that will wake him up.
So we're getting the reversal in? Okay, everyone be ready.
The blue dye serves two purposes. First, it's an antibiotic for the area the skin sample was taken. Second, it tells the rangers this lion has been tested. The team backs away to a safe distance and waits until the lion recovers.
His head's up, guys. Okay, let him be calm. He's up. Okay, he's walking. Let's all back out.
Coming up, what will the test reveal?
Now the centrifuge will spin the red blood cells and the platelets down to the bottom of the test tube, allowing the serum, which is the fluid, to rise to the top.
Find out next when the Wildlife Docs continues. The Wildlife Docs have found and safely collected blood samples from a male lion deep inside Uganda's Kidepo Valley National Park. Thanks to a grant from the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund, Dr. Pete has brought much-needed medical equipment used to perform field tests.
We brought in centrifuges that we can use to spin blood down in the field so we can get our test results very quickly, right after we finish an exam. So this is the blood from our first lion, and we are just going to enter it into the centrifuge here. And when we put the lid on and turn it on, the rotors will spin very, very fast. And this will spin the red blood cells and the platelets down to the bottom of the test tube, allowing the serum to rise to the top. And we will draw that serum off and use that to run our blood tests.
Dr. Pete takes some of the clear serum and mixes it with a testing solution and puts this mixed solution on a test strip. In just minutes, we will know the results.
20 seconds. All right, the mycobacterial test is negative, so looks like this guy is negative for the 3 infectious diseases we're testing for.
The tests come up negative for feline immunodeficiency and feline leukemia. This lion is healthy.
Great news for our lion friend.
The Uganda Wildlife Authority will continue to track and test to determine the overall health of the Kidepo lions. Now that they have the new medical equipment donated by the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund, Dr. Robert and the park rangers can get their test results immediately.
It was such a great feeling of accomplishment to actually know it was done safely, to get the right samples we wanted to do, to get them back to the veterinarian so they could take the new equipment they had, go through all the samples, and then discern the health of the cat. It was really one of those accomplishments truly to do in the wild. It was just amazing.
Working in Kidepo is not easy. You're a long, long way away from all the luxuries of walking around a very well-trodden path and knowing every corner of the park and of these lions. It's tough work coordinating a project like this, but the results we're getting right now is that these lions are extremely healthy, like the one we've just started. He was at the top of the food chain.
It's a successful first step, but there are many more lions to test. This was a great field experience for the Wildlife Docs, who got to share their knowledge and experience with the vets and rangers who work in Uganda's unforgettable Kidepo Valley National Park.
Closed captioning and other promotional consideration provided by
Dr. Pete and Rob's fieldwork and remote testing has been a great first step in helping the Kidepo lions. Today, these majestic animals can be seen atop the highest rock formations in Uganda's Kidepo Valley National Park. We'd like to thank the dedicated men and women of the Uganda Wildlife Authority, the veterinarians and the rangers, as well as the amazing volunteers of Uganda Conservation Foundation for their passion and dedication to the wild animals of Uganda. I'm Rachel Reenstra. Join us next week for another animal adventure with the Wildlife Docs.